Marc Stein's buddy Chris Haynes had a lot to say once again last night on the NBA on Prime, Amazon. We're going to dive into it more because I think a lot of folks who've been putting together their trade machines today, could you get a Risacher? Could you get a couple expirings? Could you get a future first-round pick?
Well, the one thing I wanted to add to this conversation that we haven't discussed, as part of Chris Haynes' report last night, he said, based on his reporting, Trae Young would not be involved in such a trade.
Correct.
So something else you have to think about the Hawks, who, again, as I've said, the Hawks are not known as this free spending operation. If they're taking in AD and still have Trae Young on the payroll, that's not ideal for them. And that's not a Hawksy thing that we would expect, if we can use that term. And Trae Young has a player option. The expectation is that he's going to decline it and go to free agency next summer. But if he decides, you know what, I'm not going to decline the player option, I'm going to stay, I'm going to activate the player option and stay, the Hawks have to factor that into their thinking as well. They're not going to trade a bunch of expirings for AD and then have to add AD's money and still have Trae on the payroll when they have to extend. I mean, they've already extended Jalen Johnson, but they've got Daniels. They just signed Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Like, that's another factor here that I think can't be overlooked as why it's not just a snap for the Hawks to be the AD team.
So if they did trade for Anthony Davis, would that be a real sign of indication that they believe Trae Young would not use his player option to come back?
I think they would have to have some outlet to move him somewhere.
Yeah.
So, and that's not going to be easy. I mean, we've been talking about this for weeks now. Trae Young, LaMelo Ball, John Morant, like all of these guys are theoretically in the trade ether, but I don't know that anyone's really expecting them to be moved. So,
style of guard.
I think this Hawks stuff is trickier than we think.
So do we have a clearer sense then, based off of what we've started to learn about what the Mavericks feel like they would want in return for any Anthony Davis trade?
I think the Mavericks would want Risacher.
No, I'm talking about just any trade.
Presumably multiple picks and as much cap relief as they can get because, as we've talked about, they got to get out of these aprons so they can make other moves. I mean, but that's why, like, I wonder, are there smaller trades they can pursue to achieve those apron goals, but then give them more time to not rush into an AD trade that isn't appetizing? Because again, I think in the summer there is going to be more optionality. Like there's this approach at like, it's gotta happen. Like I'm being facetious to a degree, but it's like with more time, I don't necessarily think that more time is bad. Pushing this to the offseason, there are benefits to that. Because the thing is, yes, the last year of AD's contract is a player option, but is he declining a 60+ million player option? Just like it's the same. Is Trae Young declining a $50 million player option when there isn't this robust free agent market for him? Maybe not. Now, Trae Young's younger, so he theoretically would be in a stronger position to do it. But I don't think AD's turning down that 60+ million player option. And if he's not, that means he really has 2 years left on his deal. He's not entering the last year of his deal. Because again, I just don't think it's realistic to expect him. How old is AD now?
He'll be 33 in March.
Like, so at 34, is he turning down a $60+ million player option?
Highly doubt it.
I don't see it.
And then the question becomes whether he stays here or is traded. Does he and Rich Paul push for an extension? I know that they could push for 100%.
100% they're going to push for it.
And the team doesn't have to give him one, but...
And 100% they would want, like, if he goes somewhere, they're going to want an extension wherever he goes. But if you believe that he's not going to turn that player option down, he really has 2 years left on his deal after this one. And that's why I'm saying you can wait to the summer to give yourself more time and more optionality. You don't have to just take the best offer that surfaces between now and February 5th, at least from my seat.
Do you think the Mavericks would feel pressure if they didn't trade him this offseason and decide, look, we're just going to stand pat with AD for now? Do you think they would feel pressure from Clutch to feel like they?
I mean, they'll obviously will face pressure. I don't think they have to give into it. I mean, of course, any agent, it's their job to go to try to get their client an extension. But if AD, since becoming a Maverick, he missed so much time last season, if he ends up missing half this season, what is his platform? What is his leverage to demand an extension? What is it? Why do they have to give him one? What is he going to do?
I don't think that
what is he going to do?
Leverage at all.
And correct my history if I'm wrong. I mean, yes, he was younger, obviously, when this happened, but we saw what happened in New Orleans with Anthony Davis. They were not willing to give him an extension.
But at that point in his career, he would like
one of the 5 best players in the league.
He had so much leverage and so much control to the point where he went to he basically turned it into, I'm only going to the Lakers.
Sure.
Does he have anywhere near that kind of leverage at this point in his career?
That's why we're walking.
I don't think so. I truly don't think so.
And the only reason why I bring that up is
like that was more than 6 years ago. Like,
yeah. And the only reason why I bring that up is because the road I'm walking down is, would that create an environment where it's not conducive to...
I'm not saying he's going to be thrilled about it, but if AD wants an extension from the Mavericks or any other team, what does he have to do? He has to play and produce.
And stay healthy.
That's the thing. He can be upset about it. He can say this, I expected an extension and I didn't get one. But I just think his recourse is he has to come back and be Anthony Davis.
Sure. Yeah, it's fascinating. Yes, the Mavericks are an even 500 when Anthony Davis plays games. We have detailed it, as Ron laid out. The Mavericks are 4-13 when he doesn't play games. That is the math. That is the record when he is and when he isn't on the floor. And there have been a lot of conversations today, obviously, about what a potential Hawks package could look like. Ideas of Risacher, expirings, future first rounders. There will be no shortage of this discussion as we are approaching less than 5 weeks from the NBA trade deadline, which is on February 5th. We'll see what teams continue to be involved and what the Mavericks plan continues to be going forward for Anthony Davis.